Welcome back. Now, the public has until the 12th of January to make submissions on the next Inspector General of Intelligence. The office oversees all intelligence bodies in the country. And let's speak to Anthoni van Nieuwkerk from Wits School of Governance about the state of intelligence and what awaits the next person to head this office. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. Now, of course, we know as South Africans how important intelligence is. But let's start with the candidates. We know about Dr. Dintwe. He has been at the helm for quite some time now. Has he done anything? I mean, we've seen the unrest, for instance, and some of the other things that happened intelligence-wise in South Africa that seemed as though there wasn't really much happening.
Yeah. So good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you and your listeners. Let me start by saying that the appointment of the Inspector General of Intelligence is really very important. It's a critical, important appointment, given the turmoil that we've gone through, not only in July, the 8 days in July, which we still need to better understand, by the way, but also the turmoil that our intelligence services has been subjected to and politicization over a couple of years now. And the seeming inability, of the politicians to take a firm control of the services. So this appointment is really important. If it's another appointment that will be politicized, then I think we're in trouble yet again. Because I want to say that there's unfinished business. Reforming and reconfiguring and strengthening the security sector, including the intelligence, is really important for the country going forward. And President Ramaphosa needs this as an anchor of governance. So there are 12 candidates. I can't possibly speak on whether they are their merits or demerits. We know that Dintwe is the current IGI. He's now interested in going forward for another term. He must be a very brave and courageous man, because it's the most difficult job, I can tell you. But also there are very seasoned people on that list. For example, Reverend Frank Shikani. I'm actually surprised to see that he was willing to undertake this very arduous task. But I must say that in terms of what we need as a country would be wisdom, some experience of how the state and governance works, and then a very tough skin.
Let's talk about another candidate. And I mean, I know that you said that you can't really indulge me on their merits and demerits. The reason I was asking about Dintwe is because he's been at the helm, and it doesn't seem as though we've had much change in terms of the country's intelligence. But let's move to Advocate Mahlodi Moafe, who resigned from the State Security Agency earlier this year. Did that surprise you at all? Did that his name popping up in the shortlist surprise you?
Yes, it did. But also he's withdrawn.
Yeah, that's correct. But what I'm saying is the fact that he was shortlisted in the first place. Did that surprise you at all?
Yeah, no, indeed. I thought he would step away because part of the unfinished business of reforming the intelligence agency sat at the level at which he was appointed, and seemingly not much has happened. And we know this because Parliament has woken up to its responsibilities in providing effective oversight over intelligence, and they have commissioned reports, and they have discussed this. Some of it is in the open and shared with the public. So we know that there's unfinished business. I would be, maybe as a general statement, I would be curious to find out why it is that people who are embroiled in the inner workings of the intelligence services would put themselves forward or apply for the job to be an oversight, to part of oversight. Because let me quote, if you allow me, just a sentence or two from the relevant legislation. It's the Intelligence Services Oversight Act. What we want here is a South African who has knowledge of intelligence, but more importantly, there's a clause that reads, this person shall serve impartially and independently, and perform his or her functions in good faith and without fear, favor, bias, or prejudice. And this might sound to your ears like like some of the other Chapter 9 institutions that we want very strong personalities to be appointed to undertake proper oversight. So there are a couple of names that are unfamiliar and unknown to us, but I've been informed that their information will be uploaded onto the parliamentary website. And I want to quickly add, this is not as if a secretive process will be followed in appointing the next Inspector General of Intelligence. It's fairly open. In fact, the public now has the ability to offer comments and suggestions to the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee tasked with making a recommendation to the President. The President appoints at the recommendation of the committee. And the National Assembly, by the way, just to make it more complicated, must pass this appointment by a 2/3 majority. So there will be some politics at play.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, sir, here on eNCA. And very interesting, because this is not the first time we've had a public figure embroiled in dark clouds over them, or things that have been found against them in courts, like the current public protector who was shortlisted for the Constitutional Court judge, and now she also withdrew.